Hey everybody, Tony D with a hot take. I can't believe I'm doing this, but let's do it. Is Wolverine gay? Who cares? All right? Who cares? You got to be saying to yourself, why is this happening? Why am I reading an article and looking at a video about whether or not Wolverine is gay? First off, as most people have read the character for the last, I don't know, 40 years, no, he's not gay. There's no evidence in his long storied history that he is gay. But that doesn't matter to the fourth wave feminists who took over Marvel Comics. They're not there, in my view, and this is all my view, to take on comics or make them wonderful or make them better. They're there to make them woke. They're there to push their agenda, and this is a perfect thing for them to do. It's probably inevitable that they did it. We're going to make Wolverine gay. He's the most manly character in comics. They're probably sitting around with their lattes and their milkshakes. Oh, I know. Why don't we make Wolverine gay? Oh my God, the fanboys would go crazy. That's so funny. We should do it. Yeah, let's do it. And no one stopped them because no one cares. No one cares about your comics at all. In fact, Disney doesn't even really care from what I can see and from what we're getting from the endless commentary about the breakdown of the comic book industry. It looks like that Disney really is just cranking out movies and TV shows where all the money is, and they'll use any excuse to turn any comic into any TV show or movie. So they don't have to listen to you because you're just comic people. I mean, you're in probably the lowest rung of the division of a division of a division at this point, right? I mean, even if you added up all the money that the comics made in a year, it probably wouldn't even come close to anything in merchandise or movies. They just don't care about you. And because your sales are so low anyway, who cares if they change the characters to something completely opposite? Which they will do when they finally put out the word to say, this woke trend, it's over. Let's go with the next thing. It's this, whatever it is. My prediction is going to be the anti-woke trend. It's going to be stuff like this. It's going to be more guy-centric stuff. They're going to get back to the basics, and you ladies are going to be out on your ear. I know, you're very upset. And you just think this is a bunch of fanboys' tears. But understand, I haven't bought a comic in years. I mean, granted, a couple of months ago, I was at a comic book store with my friend, and I bought a handful of comics because I felt bad for the owner. He was having a rough time. And I thought I'd do some comic thing like your boy Zach, but I forgot about the comics. I left them somewhere in my office, and now they're too old to talk about. Quite frankly, they were so uninspired. Even the Hulk that I bought, I just forgot about it. I never even read them. So that's how little I care about comics now. I mean, before that, it was years. Comic books that excite me, they're mostly web comics or new independent comics because they have new ideas. Not really interested in what happens to superheroes anymore, except for maybe Batman when Batman was good. But, after they made him naked, I was just like, geez, what are you doing, DC? And that's what you guys love to do. I mean, you love to shock people with your ideas. But that's not really an idea, is it? It's an ideology. It's the idea that, the straights won't like it and the man won't like it, but I'm going to do it anyway because I'm so wonderful. Because at the end of the day, it's all about you. You want to make the comics about you. You don't want to make them about the characters. That would be drawing attention away from you. What you want to do is make comics about you. You want to be the one who takes the credit for gay Wolverine. You want to be the one who makes the announcement, who gets all the flack. And then you can be the victim on Twitter. Oh, look at this tweet I got from an angry fanboy. Oh, he's so homophobic and awful. I don't know how people, don't buy my comic if you don't like it. Ladies, look, the guys who used to run the comic book companies ran them into the ground in terms of story and character a long time ago. I know because as a fanboy myself back in that era, we watched them do it and complained about it endlessly. Now that you're in it doing your woke nonsense, you're not helping. And in fact, you're just making a bad situation worse. Fortunately for you, your comics don't have to make money. But at some point, they're going to pull the plug, and you'll have to, I don't know, find a career for yourself or a husband, have a couple of kids, and become a Karen soccer mom where you talk around the table about, oh, I used to be in comics. Oh, it was awful. Oh, it was awful. I've never read a comic since. I never really read comics even before I got the job. Sorry, my Karen voice makes me verklempt. Anyhow, you're done. No one cares about gay Wolverine. No one cares that he's in a 3-person couple on the moon, spit roasting Jean Grey with Cyclops. I mean, look, if you wanted to publish your erotic fan fiction, there are plenty of forums to do it. You didn't have to take over Marvel Comics. And in fact, you probably should have just tried to pitch that crap to Marvel Comics and see if they would have published alongside the regular comics. Now, I think you would have known the answer. They can't publish those stories because they're marginalized stories that no one cares about. When you attach them to characters who have been around 40 years, then it appears that people care about them. But really, they're just making videos like this about it. So they don't really care. I'm not going to buy any of your woke nonsense. I'm not even going to buy the new Warriors. I'll just wait until somebody else does a video on it and read it in the video. Or somebody will send me a pirated copy or whatever, and I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to look at it and go, yeah, that's what I expected it to be, a bunch of woke nonsense. Then we'll make fun of it and we'll move on. But, you know, Twitter is not where comic fans live. Twitter is where the woke lives. They've culled the herd at Twitter. They got rid of a bunch of conservatives. They drove off anybody who had any kind of remote opinion that was even remotely right. So you're stewing in your own juices, thinking that you're actually, most of the country is behind you, or most of the fan base is behind you. This is all just Twitter and Tumblr. This is a very tiny portion of society. Same thing with Reddit. You can't gauge social media if that social media has already been censored. I mean, it would be like you saying, well, can you, curate my emails and just make sure you don't send me any emails that are too mean. And I make sure none of the emails you receive from any of the fans are from anybody who's left of or right of Fidel Castro. Then you would get the impression, wow, people really love socialism in this country. Of course you'd get that impression, even though Bernie Sanders lost the vote and only has 25% of the DNC. Maybe on a good day with the wind blowing behind his back, he could get that many votes. He can't win in a national election. He can't win because he, like you, lives in a minority bubble of we're going to take it all and change everything. Yay, wokeness. It doesn't work. Nobody cares about this stuff. No one cares. I care in that I get to make a video that everybody watches because Wolverine is gay is a great headline. So thank you for the hits in advance. But ladies, you really should just go back to whatever you were doing before. I'm sure it was some cutesy comic with baby animals with big eyes, or maybe it was some erotic fan fiction with anime characters nobody ever heard of. I mean, that's where you belong. If that's the stuff you want to do, I got no problem with it. If you want to live in the fanfic cave, live there. But don't drag it out and then call us misogynist because we don't like it. You knew we wouldn't like it. You knew exactly the reaction you were going to get with this announcement. And you know what's coming next. They're just going to close you down and bring in a grown-up to run it at some point. Yeah, we're losing too much money. We're going to have to let you go. Oh, you can't let me go. I'm the only woman of color who works here. No, actually, you've got like 15 women of color here, so we can let like 9 of you go, and we're cool. So you got your wish. I mean, you got to show the fanboys that you could ruin everything. How do you feel about that? Are you going to feel good about that at the end of the day? I don't think you will. I think when you move on with your life and it's a few years after, you'll just deny that you were ever even involved in Marvel Comics or any of these comics. you'll hide and be embarrassed by it because they'll be known as failures. You'll be known as the people. You know, it's funny. The people who are super woke now, the crazy woke people who are like, if you don't like my politics, don't read my comics. Those are the people who are going to appear in endless loops in the future when they look back on this time. When they look back on this time, it's just like looking back on the time of segregation, and you see those crazy racists who are just so ignorant and dumb. They cannot see the forest before the trees. You are them. You are the new version of them. You are the people who will appear in an endless loop in documentary and documentary how the comic book industry was destroyed by diversity and inclusion, by wokeness, by whatever you want to call it. So ladies, I hope you enjoyed your run. I hope you enjoy your lattes and your milkshakes. I hope you enjoy your fanboy tears. But the fanboys have left the building, and we eagerly await the demise of Marvel Comics.